How is everyone doing today? Right, we have the 2nd of April. It's a Thursday. We started the April 1st strike yesterday. I'm glad to hear that many drivers are participating. And what I'm noticing in a lot of emails and text messages is that drivers are abandoning Uber. Many are actually leaving Uber completely, going to Lyft, signing up over there. Why are they doing that? Why are Uber Eats drivers leaving Uber and signing up with DoorDash, signing up with Postmates, signing up with Grubhub, and especially big time, as I see a massive trend, signing up with Instacart, right? So I think that poses massive problems for Uber. It looks like their pond is drying up quickly. Those reserves that Derek Kay said he had, 10 billion, I think they will dry up very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if they had to activate what they call their cash revolver, their reserves, pretty soon in the next few months. We're sort of almost at the peak of this pandemic, and I see a massive trend of both Uber drivers and Uber Eats drivers abandoning the ship and going elsewhere for work. Firstly, it's completely understandable that a driver would not be driving riders around in this time. We have 3 people in the house, welcome you, because you would literally be playing Russian roulette with your life right now, right? Because the infection rate is high, it's getting higher. Hopefully the dip comes in a few weeks, but for now it must be probably one of the most dangerous times to get in an Uber car and actually transport a rider. Now, food deliveries have taken off, but people are comparing earnings. People are comparing who is offering what. And the bottom line is that many food delivery companies are offering better packages, better pay than Uber Eats, right? I have not seen hazard pay from any of these food delivery companies. We're pushing for that. We're on social media pushing for hazard pay. Anytime you get into a car and even pick up food or pick up a few groceries for an individual, not only should you be tipped well, but those companies should work in a bit of a hazard pay for you, right? The saying once bitten, twice shy, and that's another big reason why people are leaving the Uber ship and the Uber Eats ship, because the company has made too many promises, right? People were supposed to be getting hand sanitizer, people were supposed to be getting masks, people were supposed to just be getting like all the very basic essentials from Uber. At least that is what they promised. People were waiting. Did your disinfectant spray come? No, it didn't. So, when you keep on breaking promises as a company, and you don't live up to these promises, right? And instead, on the other hand, you keep on screwing over drivers. And talking about screwing over drivers, Business Insider came out with a very harsh article this morning that I'm going to read to you, right? But people are leaving Uber, right? And I think there's a lot of anxiety and stress within that company because they can see it like literally falling apart in front of them. This article here, it's very powerful. It says, Uber promised to pay drivers who couldn't work because of the coronavirus, but drivers say Uber has been closing their accounts after they seek sick pay and then ignoring or rejecting their claims. So hear this out. You have a legitimate reason from a doctor, right, or from a public health department. You tell Uber, hey, I'm in this situation, I cannot drive for whatever reasons, right, relating to COVID-19. Boom, your account is cut off. Garcia Bui in the house. Thank you, my friend. How are you, buddy? Very good morning to you. your account is cut off, and then there you are sitting there without any income, and they are not delivering on this 14-day backup promise, right? They're just ignoring or rejecting your claims, or even worse, trying to get you to sign some document, right? Which basically you signing your rights away. Just don't do it, right? It's just, I mean, you need that money, but I would not be held ransom. These guys are holding you ransom. These are dirty, dirty, dirty tactics. And like I said, it's no wonder that the people are abandoning the ship, right? I mean, this here is a common thing, 0.00. People are just not willing to go out there and work for this company anymore. So Uber promised financial assistance to drivers forced off the road by the coronavirus, but even some who appear to meet its strict eligibility criteria have been unable to get the company to pay them. This is because Uber is literally down to the reserves. They're holding on to what they have for dear life, right? You can come to them, you come with the issue, with the doctor letter, they cut you off, okay? They don't let you go out there anymore. They see you as a problem, but they're not, again, living up to that promise. Remember I said they're breaking promises. Hey, we'll have all of this for you. Nothing came. We'll pay you a 14-day leave. Nothing came, right? So people are getting really, really frustrated and scared. And if you cannot rely on these guys, you go elsewhere. So tons of people have been signing up with DoorDash, Postmates, Instacart, other companies, because at least there is a reliable stream of income, right? And if you're still on the road transporting humans, please, please stop driving humans. Do not play Russian roulette in that car, please. Multiple drivers, all of whom have underlying health conditions that make them especially vulnerable to the virus, told Business Insider that Uber had rejected or ignored their request for sick pay after shutting down their accounts despite doctors' notes. So here you are, you contracted it, or you think you have it, or a loved one in your house has it, or an elderly that you're taking care of it has it. The doctor tells you you cannot drive. You get all the documents together, you follow the protocol, you upload all the documents, you wait, you get more stressed. I'm telling you, do not rely on that check to come from Uber. They don't come through, right? They only come through if you get armies of attorneys involved, they get back to you, or if you really turn to social media. I know that. I've done both sides and they got back to me. They never got back to me through Uber support. They never got back to me through the 1-800 number. Their specials team never got back to me. They just keep you hanging. The only time you get some sort of cooperation is if you truly clobber them over their head, either with an attorney, through arbitration, through small claims court, or you expose them on social media. I've done all of those angles, and believe me, it works. They've called me personally. They've called me up personally, their attorneys. I've spoken to 3 of their attorneys so far. That is the only way you will get their cooperation, right? While Uber immediately blocked them from driving. This is the sad part, right? So now you report this because you're doing the right thing, and now they're blocking you, right? Effectively cutting off their income. Drivers say the company's response has left them frustrated and out of a paycheck at a time when they need it most. Now, if you find yourself in this situation, right, you are driving humans around, someone in your family has it, the doctor says, look, you cannot go out there, run the risk of getting this, picking up riders. You don't have it yet, right? They coming down with an illness, they quarantined, whatever, at home, or they quarantined at the hospital. You can't go out there and run up the risk, right? So at that moment, obviously, like I said, you file all the documents, you hope and pray a check comes. It doesn't come after a few days. It doesn't come after a week. Jimmy, how are you? Abstract Echo, Garcia Bowie in the house. Thank you, guys. I would say immediately turn to food deliveries or Instacart, right, where you are not interacting with humans. Go out there, even if you have to go onto Amazon, place those orders. Sometimes it takes a week or two. They're charging 3 times the amount, but you can still get your hands on gloves. I know that, right? I've tried it out myself. I've got a few of these big boxes, right? You can still get your hands on the gloves. And by the way, they say everyone should wear gloves now, right? Everyone. Doesn't matter what type of glove you have. The bottom line is it's stopping particles from the outside. It's minimizing the risk of coming in, right? This was one of the big factors in Asia, throughout Asia, Japan and China, why they could slow this thing down, because everybody was on board, right? I don't see enough people wearing masks. I want all of you wearing masks wherever you go out there in the public place. Remember, this stuff is in the air. It swirls around. You're running through a shopping center. This shit is in the air. So always, I know it's difficult. You struggle sometimes to get oxygen through these things, but this could be the lifesaver right here and then. Now, is Uber? Give me 1 second. I have Brian on the line here. Brian, how are you, buddy?
Good.
All good? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Fantastic. He's fantastic. We're live. What's cooking? Cool. Good stuff.
Are you free today?
Yes, I can be. Absolutely. Should I come down your way?
Yeah, same. Over Culver City.
Culver City? Okay, give me some times and I'll be over there. Perfect.
What time are you thinking?
3 o'clock maybe? Or okay. 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock? What suits you the best?
Earlier the better.
Okay, I'll text you right now after I'm done. Say hi and bye.
Good luck out there.
Good luck out there. Stay safe from Brian. Thank you, Brian. Brian's awesome. He's a freaking tech guru, this guy. Anyway, so they say we remain committed to working. This is them, right? We remain committed to working with drivers and delivery people around the world to help support them. We will continue to advocate for independent workers, Uber said in a statement to Business Insider. I don't know how much of that you believe in these times. I do not believe a single word coming out of their mouths anymore. I have completely given up hope with Uber, right? And I'm very happy to see that people are proudly texting and emailing me and said, hey, we switched the Uber apps off, right? I would not be surprised if the delete Uber movement comes back. People are angry. People are frustrated, right? But I ask you to take that anger and those frustrations and channel it into something good. Start a company, go elsewhere, learn a different trade, move into Instacart, whatever it is. Do not sit there and allow those frustrations and that stress to eat you up alive, right? You got to move on, folks. You got to move on, right? So the answer is not to dig a hole, bury your head, put your head on the pillow and get into depression. No, that's not the answer. The answer is, hey, the company is not doing anything for me. Promises after promises, nothing has materialized. It's time for me to move on, right? So Business Insider has a great article. Even if you have subscribed there, it's top 10 businesses you could start up in these times, right? You could make money. Friend of mine, he immediately left his job in Munich, Germany, and started another company and started supplying stuff, and is making a lot of money, right? So switch gears, right? Switch gears. Wicked Hustle Guy, good morning. Hope everyone is having the best day they can, exactly the best day they can under the circumstances, right? I hope you're staying indoors. I hope you and your family are doing well. Hustle Guy, Garcia, Abstract Echo, and Davis 20. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Shout out to you guys, the true warriors. You know, the good thing is I see you here. At least I'm not seeing you on the road moving humans around. That would just be Russian roulette. So to bunker down, to stay indoors, to protect your family, to be vigilant, right? Going out, hey, did I go shopping? Okay, I spray down. I know this sounds very like a lot of drama, but you got to spray the shit down, right? A spray, if I get an Amazon package, spray it down. Door handles, spray it down. Wipes, whatever you can get your hands on. Kill those frickin' virus germs, whatever they are. Assassinate them, kill them, wipe them out. So we have a guy here called Zachary Frenette has driven for Uber in Phoenix, Arizona for the past 2 years, earning his diamond status. I don't know why people always proudly talk about their diamond and whatever platinum status. Doesn't mean anything to me. And he has a 4.96 average rating, same as I do, during that time, while completing more than 4,300 trips in the past year alone. He's also HIV positive, meaning he has a weakened immune system that puts him at a higher risk of developing severe symptoms for dying from COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel coronavirus. On March 18, 2 of his passengers, both coughing and sneezing, said they had just left a relative's house who had tested positive for the virus. So Frenette immediately stopped accepting rides and went to his doctor, who wrote him a letter telling himself to self-quarantine to limit exposure and potential spread of the virus. He then submitted that letter to Uber, which deactivated his driver account immediately in an apparent effort to limit his contact with other passengers. Okay, so here's the question that I asked. If they acknowledge that, if they deactivate the driver, then they're basically acknowledging, okay, he's a risk driver, right? They're not doing that with high-risk riders where they know this individual has been in all these countries. They're not switching them off, because remember, those are the people that pay the money, but they switch off the driver, right? Now he says his livelihood is at immediate risk. He runs out. He relies mainly on Uber for his income. He knows that Uber had a program to pay drivers who couldn't work because of the risk of spreading the coronavirus. And with a doctor's note highlighting his possible exposure, he assumed the company would honor its policy. After all, they shut off his account as part of it. So they have acknowledged he has a problem. They shut off his account. Now he's assuming they're going to come to his rescue. My friends, never assume anything in life, right? Only assume what you are going to do, right? If you say, hey, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to go and pick up that package for that guy, you know you're going to do it, right? But never assume that support net, that help net is there for you from Uber. Now, legally, I would say Uber has a big problem. He writes a letter, they shut him off, and they don't deliver on the money. If they keep on pressuring them or have an attorney call, then they will deliver the money. But what they try to do is get you to sign a document. You're basically signing your rights away. You'll never get back on that Uber platform. Or if you do, you will be classified as an independent contractor, because that's part of the verbiage. But it's a very dirty, sly way that Tony West has set up with his attorneys. It's very, very, very dirty. Sherelle says, actually, I'm on the road, took a private client to emergency dentist appointment. I'm waiting for her in the dentist parking lot right now. Okay, so hopefully you're doing your bit, spraying it down. You know that client, right? So they're not coughing. That's okay. David J says, good morning. Garcia says, Grubhub. Many are signing up there. That's true. Garcia also says, mask on the store, knock, knock. Your food is on the steps. Exactly. Food delivery. I'm leaving it at the door. Bye-bye. Food delivery. Food is at the door. I'm leaving it at the door. Goodbye. Gone you are. David J. Been doing Instacart as a replacement to Uber. Black SUV, not as much pay. However, it's better than nothing during these times. I like your attitude, dude. Better than nothing, right? You're doing more, David, than the average person is doing out there, right? And what I'm worried is about the people slipping into depression. This can easily slide into depression if you don't have a grip on it. Now, I do know that rideshare drivers are the hardest of the hardest hardcore people. They know they got to go out there, they got to drive the streets, they know the conditions are harsh, they know what comes their way, they know that they have drunkards. Rideshare drivers are hardcore. So it's usually if you have rhino or elephant skin, as I call it, then depression is far more unlikely. Why? Because you are a fighter by nature. Right, you're going out there doing things that the average person is just not willing to do, or just too scared to do, or too afraid to do. Drivers are rather hardcore people. They really are, right? Sherelle says, I do have Purell though. worth its weight in gold. Oh, I'm telling you, Sherelle, you could probably trade this for a bar of gold right now. You could probably change that Purell for whatever, and you say, hey, I have Purell. Anybody willing to trade gold? Yeah, it's the bartering thing. Like, hey, I got this full bottle here. Anybody willing to barter gold or silver or platinum? Believe me, what the people right now, they're thinking about their health, nothing else. They're thinking about their family, nothing else, right? So where can you get Lysol? Look, ordering stuff online is almost impossible right now. I did go down the other day. I got some of that for myself and for clients, Lysol and that. I did find that at Ralph's, believe it or not. I went shopping for people at Costco, at Trader Joe's, and by the way, I charge $200 to $300 to go shopping. But I go in like a frickin' like it's a zombie apocalypse. I got my glasses and I got my mask. I got like a full-on hazmat suit to go, and the people are like, whoa, who's this guy? They actually get out of my way. So I get in, I get out. I know where the things are. I know Trader Joe's, every line. I know where the items are backwards. You could blindfold me in Trader Joe's. I know Home Depot inside out. I know exactly which aisles what is. I've been there so many times. I know Costco inside out. I'm getting to know Vaughn's and Ralph's, but I don't shop there. I know Whole Foods inside out. But I charge them an arm and a leg, right? I mean, I'm talking like minimum, I charge them $200. Don't want to pay me? It's okay. I'm not going to go out there. Remember, I'm on the front lines in these tough times for you, right? God forbid, I hope I don't contract it. But I don't want to lose these high caliber clients, right? These are people that, help me build my company, right? So am I going to drive them around? No, absolutely not. But will I go out? And I go in off times, either first thing in the morning or very, very late at night, usually in the last 30 minutes before the store closes, right? I'll go in, I'll run in, and it's far quieter. If you go sort of like peak time, mid-afternoon, after work, there's too much of a rush, right? So I go as late as possible, right? If I can go at 11 o'clock at night, great, I'll go at 11 o'clock at night, because that's when many old people are already fast asleep and not shopping. Maybe some of the youngsters are out and about at 12 o'clock at night shopping. I go late. Let me give you a good tip. If you do have any, if you can build up any clients, if you can build up any relationships with people and say, hey, listen, I'm willing to go shopping for you, send me a list, right? I charge it on my credit card. I then invoice them afterwards, right? But I charge them an arm and a leg, but you go out late. A lot of these stores are open at 11, 12 o'clock at night, right? Not everyone, but I know that Walmart's, Ralph's, these type of stores are open very, very late. I was very, very surprised to see that a lot of the people working the tills, the cashiers, I didn't understand why they just didn't do the basics. Why doesn't the company say, hey, you got to have the basics on? All work with your masks, all work with your gloves, right? It just sort of really did not make sense to me why these individuals weren't protecting themselves, right? They get into contact with one client after the other at the till, unloading the food, paying, next. I mean, right in front of you, you have a big problem. You don't even know at that moment if that individual, that grocery person, right, who's at the till, has it or doesn't have it. All it would take is 2 feet apart, you're ready to pay with your card, and the guy coughs on you. It's game over. So I want to see more of those type of people, those grocery people, step up and do the minimum. Wicked Hustle Guy says, if anyone wants to know about a hassle-free shopping during the day in the West Side LA, I'd love to hear about that. Then send me a message, as I'm not making this public. Okay, that's good. I understand that, but I'll hit you up afterwards. Sherelle says double mask and gloves at Ralph's, but so many things are gone. Yeah, and if you do get your hands on it, right? If you do get your hands on it, buy it. If you do see it, buy it. I can tell you what, you could probably sell it to a lot of your private clients for 3 times the amount. So This person here, Frenette, and multiple other Uber drivers told Business Insider that the company hasn't given them the pay promised despite their heightened exposure or risk, leaving them without pay and unable to do work. Remember, they reported the incident. Uber cut them off, so they're acknowledging by cutting them off. But now comes the sad part. They're not delivering on the monies. Some also raised concerns that shutting down accounts but not compensating drivers who follow the agreement risks, disincentivizing drivers from self-quarantining in the middle of the pandemic. Very true. And the moment you do not get cooperation, the moment you are not getting your money, one or two things. Either call them out on Twitter again and again and again, 15, 20 times. It works, believe me. I call them out. I probably wrote 15 tweets this morning, different tweets, but I include all of these individuals. I include all of their names. I shame them, I shame them, I shame them, right? It's the only way. I call it death by 1,000 cuts. I shame them on YouTube. I shame them on Facebook, right? You know, they're frauds. They have blood on their hands. Just things like that. Phrases, I repeat them over and over and over again, and you get their attention. They call you. So that's one way of getting paid. The other way is like you run off to, like, let's say you're in California, you're waiting, you just go to Potter Handy, right? Now, they'll make the phone call for you, or you go to Shannon Licht Riordan. You go to her website, both big attorney company, and you fill it out, you fill out the forms. If you go to Potter Handy, tell them I sent you, you'll get really, really good treatment, right? I know that for a fact. So they say statewide lockdowns across more than half of the United States have forced thousands of drivers like Frenette off the roads, both to protect their own health as well as others. So it's not about always you protecting your health. You've got to stop maybe because you're protecting someone else in your family, right? It's not always just about you, about this coronavirus. It could be you doing this and you're stopping driving because you have 2 or 3 people in your household and their health is compromised. Their immune system is compromised. They have asthma, maybe bronchial problems, right? Or they, they have diabetes or whatever it is. Many people are doing this for them, not always necessarily for yourself. David says Galson Century City is pretty relaxed. That's good to know. Thank you so much. Great tip. Galson Century City. Good to know. Galson's a rather expensive venue, I would say. So I don't think too many people just go. It's really, don't you find, David, that Galson's pretty expensive? So while those still driving have struggled to make any money, with rides dropping as much as 94% in the United States. Earlier in March, in recognition of the precarious situation drivers have found themselves, Uber announced its intention to support them through a coronavirus financial assistance policy, effectively a form of sick pay. The program promises to compensate drivers for up to 14 days with the delay amount varying based on how much they had learned on the platform over the past 6 months. Here's the key word. Promises. With a promise. You see, it's always a promise. It's not a fulfillment. It's a promise. So we will promise you that we will take care of this, but they're not following through on the promise. People should not be put into a situation. This stuff is so grotesque, but man, it opens up your lungs. People should not be put into the situation of being cut off. Firstly, trust me, the moment you are cut off. Now, I have 2 accounts, right? They cut off one of my accounts. I'll tell you what, I was stressed, because that's like, I've built that up. I've built all the marketing around, let's say, one specific channel. I have a private account. I have a fleet account. My fleet account is still going. They shut down my private account. It's stressful. I understand that. So suddenly the person has one account and that one account is gone, right? They never created backups. Now it's too late. Now you can't enroll with Lyft as a driver, and you shouldn't. But if you do try and enroll with Lyft, they'll bump you over to Amazon. They'll say, hey, do you want to become an Amazon driver? I'm telling you what, better to drive with them, better to deliver packages than to wait on Uber, right? Thinking you're going to get paid, thinking you're going to get this 14-day sick leave. It's not coming. It's not coming. David J says it's a bit pricey, however, it's less than a mile from my house. Oh, that's good. So it's just around the corner. I do like Costco a lot. Get gas there often. Yes, I'm a huge Costco. I'm telling you, when you go shopping at Costco, the last time I was at Costco, it was $500. I mean, the money you drop at Costco is sick. Wicked Hustle Guy said, thanks to Sherelle. Thank you guys for communicating, Wicked Hustle Guy and Sherelle, and exchanging energy. And by the way, this is a channel. I'm just being very upfront with you guys and trying to get 4,000 hours on this channel, because I'm going to open up this channel into something beautiful, way more. I'm going to bring in, I can test drive the BMW cars. I can talk about those. I'll talk about real estate. I'll talk about Amazon drop shipping. I'll talk about creating brands, actually all the steps, from the bottling, from the packaging, from the designing, working with designers, working with the marketing teams, getting it onto Amazon, getting it into retail stores, getting it into how to do trade shows, right? There's so many ways to either start a business or fit into an existing business. For example, a lot of fun. Way back in the day, I used to love working at trade shows. Like I did all these different trade shows in Europe. The company would send me there because I would sell like no other, right? And you learn how to interact with the people and working at a trade show. I don't know if anybody knows. Elias is in the house. Whoop, whoop, Compton in the house. It's been 2 weeks that I'm not driving for Lyft. And you're doing a great job with us drivers. Thank you. I'm pushing. I am hammering them relentless, Elias. I gave them a rough time yesterday and a rough time today. And just judging by all the emails and text messages that I'm getting, a lot of people are engaging in social media, hammering them. They're having a rough PR party over there. They cannot get a grip on their PR, on their public relations. They're having a hard time. Anyway, long story short, I jumped from trade shows to Elias. What I was saying is trade shows are fun. Trade shows are brutal, long hours. Trade shows, you make good money, good hourly money representing a brand. And then, you can take that knowledge and head off in 20 other different directions. That's always the cool thing. You go there, you learn a bit here, you learn a bit there. And then you decide, wow, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. I can do this, I can do that. I'm not good at this. This is my weakness. And then you sort of like figure out exactly what you want to do there, right? So Wicked Hustle Guy says, I've been wondering if we as independent contractors can apply to the Economic Impact SBA loans and get that 10,000 grant. I heard you can. But I heard that it's only available, it's like on a first come, first service basis. Elia says, hammer them. My friend, my Thor hammer, I have been pounding day and night. I really have. And I'm starting to see, definitely starting to see the results on that one, right? Definitely having an impact in that department. I mean, I just saw people trolling Tony West. Even Dave, the Uber slave, was trolling Tony West this morning. I mean, we're on his case, right? He was going, I don't know what his post was. I made a video about it early on. He made some comment and people were like all over him. But yeah, look into that 10,000 grant. And by the way, that's a minimum of 10,000. You might even qualify for more. Elias, it's good. It's not bad. Look, I'll admit it. They owe me a lot of money. I want to get paid. Obviously, that's part of my pressure campaign, right? The sooner they pay me, probably the sooner I'm willing to tone it down a little bit. I do want to get paid. I am owed a lot of money. A lot of other people are waiting for, and I'm here fighting for those people waiting for 14 days. I'm fighting for the people where just millions and millions of promises have been broken, where millions and millions of drivers have been misclassified, where millions of drivers during the last 2 months should have been taken care of, and they were not. They dropped through the cracks. They didn't take care of them. But the initial policy was criticized for only applying to drivers who had confirmed cases of COVID-19 or were placed in quarantine by public health officials, given the extremely limited availability of Uber testing. Uber's policy made it nearly impossible for many drivers to prove they had or were at risk of spreading the disease, which can be highly contagious even if a person isn't showing symptoms. After a backlash, Uber expanded the program to include drivers personally asked by a public health authority or licensed medical provider to self-isolate due to your risk of spreading COVID-19, as well as drivers whose accounts are restricted by Uber as a result of information provided by a public health authority that you have been diagnosed or have been exposed to some diagnosed with COVID-19. So the moment Uber receives anything from a public health official, anything from a doctor that they think, okay, this information we're receiving right now is valid, it was submitted through that site, they have a link. What do? They acknowledge that, they immediately cut off the driver. That's an acknowledgement. That's an acknowledgement that you can always legally fall back on later. You acknowledged it, you cut him off, but you didn't act. It's negligence, right? Or malpractice, whatever you want to call it, right? So these people that don't receive the money right now, mark my words, there will be massive class action lawsuits later representing all of these individuals that were cut off and were promised, right? So attorneys love these type of cases. They will be all over them. And there's no way to wiggle out in front of the face of the law, in front of the law, right? Because did you receive the information? Yes. Did you cut the driver off? Yes. Why did you not pay out? That's it, guilty. So that's an easy win for an attorney, I can tell you that, right? So if Uber has made this promise and they're not delivering on it, I think they're hurting money-wise. I just truly, truly think that Uber is holding on to whatever it can right now, right? Because that water pond is just drying up. Lyft might have a lifeline. Lyft might have said, OSHIT. We don't have food deliveries. We are dying here in the rider, in as far as ride sharing goes, trips, cars. What do? At that moment, a company like Amazon with tons of capital, tons of power, tons of resources, ample money, right? Still going strong, making more money than ever during these times because everybody's ordering online. They're making, they're printing money right now, right? They are just praying and hoping that no government or institution shuts down their warehouses, right? They want to try and really minimize the cases of COVID at those Amazon warehouses. But I tell you what, Amazon swoops in, sees a big weakness with Lyft at the moment, right? Sees it, and this eagle just swoops in and says, we could possibly grab this weak company right now. Okay, now that we have them, let's talk with them. Do they want to work with us? Yes, it looks like they want to work with them because they already said, we're recruiting a lot of drivers. We will start sending them your way for Amazon deliveries. So there is already that a relationship formed between Lyft and Amazon. And I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised that within the next 30 to 60 days, there's a huge announcement that Amazon now, or Lyft is now owned by Amazon, that Lyft is basically a subsidiary or a sister company to Amazon. Remember, Amazon has a lot of companies, cloud companies, this company. So they may cut a deal. They may take over their stock and the company and the infrastructure and all the apps, and they say, okay, right, you can now, maybe they modify the Lyft apps, maybe it's called Lyft Amazon, whatever it's called, they modify it, and now suddenly you see, okay, you can order products, you can order through Lyft, right? They sort of incorporate Lyft's infrastructure into Amazon. They swallow them. I would not be surprised. I don't know who agrees or disagrees with me on this one in the room, right? Lyft stocks on 22.44. Wicked Hustle guy said, what is Uber stuck on right now? Can't be too great. I saw it falling a little bit. Can't be too fantastic. It's a little bit of a rebound this morning. Let's just see what we have in the Uber department. Oh, it actually has dropped even further. By the way, so this is interesting. It did, we're over here on this side. It did go up to 27. It went from 14 low. It shot up to 27. It's down now to 23. It says Uber to start shipping disinfectants to drivers. If anybody can report on that, if anyone, can report on this promise of Uber, hey, we'll supply sanitizers, we'll supply disinfectants, we'll supply gloves, we'll supply masks. If anyone can step up and send me a screenshot and say, hey, Torsten, hey, Rideshare Professor, I got this, right? I got this. David, you would agree with me that you could see Amazon taking them over? Yeah, I think that move is in the works. I truly do. I do think that is in the very, very near future. If they're already talking, if they're already acting together, that poses a huge, huge threat to Uber. They might think, oh, we're one up on them. Hey, we got all this Uber Eats infrastructure. And by the way, they didn't foresee, nobody foresaw the coronavirus coming. But what Uber did, one of their biggest mistakes in 2019, they offloaded one of their biggest markets, Uber Eats in India, to, I believe it was Zomato, right? I believe Zomato swallowed them up, right? Uber probably regrets that move, right? Because the more Uber Eats infrastructure has in place worldwide, the more it has the ability to survive. It does not have the ability to survive on ride sharing alone for a few months. Lyft does not have the ability to survive on rideshare infrastructure alone. And the reason why I say that is because, Lyft, unlike Uber has all these hubs worldwide. They've committed to all these leases, all these buildings, all these things. That just goes back to sort of like the Travis Kalanick times, right? We got the money, bigger is better. We have all these buildings all over, and they're elaborate, big buildings. They don't even have to take such big buildings. The one in Redondo Beach, they need something 1/3 of that size, right? But no, bigger is better. Spend. We've got the money now. Oh shit, we better start closing those leases, closing those hubs, downsize. So that plan backfired. It costs them a fortune. Lyft, fortunately, doesn't have that many hubs, not too many hubs in the United States. And they don't have those high overheads, those costs every month. Uber had to let all of those employees go at the hubs. Uber has to shut down all those hubs, but still is committed to those leases, right? Because otherwise landlords will be suing. Hey, why are you not paying? So they have all of these big buildings in all of these cities, right? In Miami, in Dallas, in Houston, in LA, in Orange County. They're all over, all of these buildings and all of these leases. The landlords are calling and say, hey, you haven't paid the rent. So Uber is burning cash. They have Uber Eats as a backup. Lyft doesn't have the hubs and those overheads, but Lyft doesn't have the income from delivery. But Lyft says, okay, we have a huge infrastructure. It's worth a lot, right? Our stock is still trading. Who could we partner up with? Most logical move would be Amazon. Mark Lugo in the house. I think so too. I think it's coming soon. So if you sort of wanted to speculate a little bit, right, on stocks, the Lyft stock could be a good one, could be swallowed up by Amazon. Amazon is as strong as ever. I mean, I don't know how much the Amazon stock costs, but it's very, very high. It's costly, right? It's not like rideshare drivers can go out there and buy 20 Amazon stocks, right? But Amazon should see an uptick if they take the Lyft infrastructure, right? Because they're taking a very powerful US Canadian infrastructure into an already built up empire. They have the money, they have the reserves. Amazon, just like Microsoft, Google, Alphabet, Apple, they just buy, right? Just like Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett moves in, boom, 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 buys all these companies in distress and then builds them back up again, right? So interesting times. I am so proud of David Blunt. He says, I blasted Tony West on Twitter. Yo, Torsten, do you have an Instacart referral code that pays you? Yes, I do. May I give it to you? Thank you, sir. Here it is. I just need to go onto one of my older videos. And by the way, I'll give you half that money back, or 75% of that money back. Let me just, let's see. Give you that code. Where's my, how long has this been going on? How long? It is Instacart. All these codes. I have a lot of codes. And I'll tell you what's nice about codes. I'll tell you what's, I'm gonna reveal something in this feed that I don't think I'd really reveal on the other big channel. I'll share something with you guys right now. So this one is T-Kunit 661. So when I started my Uber and Lyft channels right in the beginning, 2015, 2016, when I started building out the fleet, and I'm sharing this with this channel, so there's only a few people privy to this conversation. So I don't think it's a conversation I'd have over in the big rideshare channel, but we're a small little group here. Thank David Hunt. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. I'm thanking you. I built out a lot of videos, 9,200 videos, 8 channels, 9,200 videos in 8 channels. No lies, 9,200 videos, 8 channels. And you may say to yourself, that's madness, it's impossible, you can't do that. Yeah, I have a group of people in LA, 6 people that manage other groups of people overseas. So to get to that number was not, I understand how online marketing works, and I understand like, okay, you've got, hey, David, thank you for all subscribing to this new channel. This new channel is going to go in a whole different direction. I'm talking to the rideshare crowd until I get it up to about 4,000, and then I just want to open it up to a lot of other exciting stuff that I have knowledge on. And I only want to talk about things that I've done myself and that I know. And where I've spent educational dollars, this worked, this didn't work, sharing a lot of other good information, as well as how I built up my various YouTube channels. I will be discussing that in length as we get to those 4,000 hours, right? I'll be discussing it on this channel, how to do that. If anybody wants to duplicate it, they can duplicate it, because everyone has their strengths. Everyone has knowledge about a specific. David Hunt, like mediation? Yeah, I mean, I'll bring to you, for example, a lot of knowledge from superior court cases that I've done, interaction with attorneys, how to work with attorneys, how to get the best out of attorneys, how to file small claims court, how to really win. I've never, ever lost in small claims court. I have and even if I've gone in as an expert witness, I think I have a 17-0 small claims record. 17 wins, 0 losses in small claims. It's a formula in small claims court. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in LA County, Ventura County, wherever you are, you just follow the small claims formula. And I know it works because Uber called me up and they wanted to settle the day before they had a hearing with me on that Friday in small claims. They wanted to settle. So we were back and forth, and then suddenly the courts say, hey, we're going to move this. The same day, we're going to move the 60 days right through to May. And I could have settled with them right there and then, and they thought, oh, now we have another 60 days time. But mark my words, as we get to May the 15th, I use those same techniques, right? And I will settle with them in small. Most of the stuff you can settle in small claims court. Doesn't mean you always get that dollar amount. You ask for 5, they offer you 1. You may end up agreeing on 3.5 if you're really good, or 4 if you're a really good negotiator. But those type of formulas, I want to teach people how to go to the American Arbitration Association, file arbitration, how to do that effectively, how to work with class action. So that's the type of knowledge I'm going to be flowing into this channel, right? But most importantly, if you want to build out an infrastructure of social media, if you want to build out a logo, if you want to build out a brand, right, and you setting up your YouTube channel, okay, how do you topic things out? How do you create the descriptions? How do you create the titles? How do you create keyword portfolios? Now, this may all sound Chinese and Japanese to certain people right now, no disrespect to those two nations, but it's a foreign language that you don't know. But as you turn to YouTube, everything is on YouTube. How do I put a fuel pump in my new Mercedes 380 SL? How do I cook chili con carne? You guys, whatever you can dream up of as in form of a question, posed to YouTube, it'll spit out X amount of videos. Have you ever tried that? It works every single time. So, knowing how to market. I knew that when I went into the rideshare business, I knew how to really, really crank out meditate. Both meditate and mediate. Meditate and mediate. Sometimes you've got to meditate before you mediate, believe me. But yes, both are very similar spelling. Both are very powerful. Very, very powerful. I believe in mediation over litigation. I believe in meditation, big time, right? Just to relax your body, relax your mind. Because on some days we feel very amped up. We feel very excited, a lot of anxiety, right? So you have to learn how to decompress and slow yourself down. But back to YouTube, I looked at all the cities that Uber was operating, all the cities that Lyft was operating in, and I went out and marketed into all of those cities. And at the height, anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 a month on referral monies made combined from Uber and Lyft combined. 30 to 40,000 every single month after month after month after month. And I've got a couple of trucks on the road recruiting people up and down the coast, knowing that LA pays 700, San Diego pays 500, and ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Milk that cow to the max, right? Knowing that party was going to end at some point, right? That they were going to either reduce the amount of cities for referrals or that they were going to stop it entirely. So they did exactly that. They reduced the amount of cities in 2018. They really, really fudged the laws, and that's what I'm having attorneys look at right now. They really, really went against the grandfather laws, right? And they screwed over even people like Dustin, who will not admit it, right? Because he's still making money. He's not going to rattle their cage. But they owe Dustin right now, I know on paper, they owe him a lot of money. But he's not acting on it. And why is he not acting on it? Because they're still paying him out in other cities, up to the point where they stop referrals completely, right? So when they stop referrals completely, as of somewhere in April now, I will tell you what, a lot of those people, like Harry, that built Uber and Lyft, people like Jay Credeur, people like Dustin, they will all turn on Uber and Lyft, and they will want to be paid like myself for those unpaid referrals. And I'm sharing this with you because I'm sharing very, very open, right? But when you build out the infrastructure of videos and you say to yourself, okay, if I invest all of this time, will I see dividends? Will I see money in all of these cities? The answer being yes for multiple years. Will I be at some stage, if you have a good following, will I be able to branch out into other things? The answer is yes, right? So what I do is through the channel, I will form all of these relationships. You can do the same. If you want to know how, you have my line, you have my email, you have my phone number, right? with the channel or with the channels or with multiple channels, you now can say, okay, how can I slot in other verticals, other money-making verticals, right? So, okay, so if you look at the bottom of Dustin's videos, if you look at the bottom of Torsten's videos, if you look at the Rideshare Hub's videos, you will see all of those codes, DoorDash codes, Postmates codes, Ubermates codes, Grubhub codes, Instacart codes, Lyft codes, gas app codes, stock codes, all of these codes, right? So you sign up and you take the time to sign up with all of those companies. You represent all of those companies in all of your videos, right? And let's just say David Hunt is watching my video and then he says, you know what, I need an Instacart code. I need to sign up. Goes down, looks beneath my video. Oh, Torsten has an Instacart code, or Sherelle has an Instacart code. Boom. They sign up. When they hit those Instacart targets, when they hit those Uber Eats targets, when they hit those DoorDash targets, they get paid out. So the beautiful thing is, no matter what type of channels you build out, right? No matter what type of infrastructure you build out, whether Sherelle wants to build out a series of videos, whether Abstract Echo wants to talk about art, cranking up a lot of articles about art, reporting about art all around the world. One of the museums, big museums, was just broken into. I believe it was in the Netherlands or over in Europe, where they stole a famous painting during coronavirus times, you know, or whether it's Irina Shayk, the celebrity, the model that was married to Bradley Cooper. She's now dating one of the big art dealers of the world. You have so much to talk about as a channel. Like Abstract Echo could start a channel in art, and I'm basically right now challenging him right here and now. I've given you a couple of topics, right? He knows about art. You should see his art pieces. He has a piece called number 9, isn't that right? You know, you need to go out there and really crank up your I think this art piece is called 9. But you know, you can talk about art and you can monetize it. The beauty is, with all of these channels that I've built out, I can fit in. I can use it as a recruitment tool for drivers in our own limo fleets. I can use it to get sponsorships, products. I would charge them a minimum of $500. I don't do any videos under $500. If they want to send me a little USB hub or a $20 DoorDash, I don't do it. I say, you got to send $500 worth of products. Why? Because I can use those products as giveaways to keep on building my channel. If you want your little Uber and Lyft neon light to be advertised through my channel, send me $500 worth of lights so that I can hand them out and build out my channel. So you're building subscribers and subscribers. And then you have an audience, which is, let's say, 70, 80% rideshare drivers, but 30% of their interests go in other directions, right? People are interested in cars. So you've got a guy like Randy Shear, the former Uberman, one of my mentors. He goes out and starts a channel, Auto Auction Rebuilds. I think he has over 300,000 subscribers. Now we're talking money, right? So and now he can start talking with all of the parts dealers, automotive dealers. So what I'm saying here, long story short, is that when you put in the hours to build out an infrastructure, you can use it. And now that I have an infrastructure, and now that companies like Uber and Lyft and other companies are not taking care of drivers, I have the chance to hold up the mirror and hold up the light and expose these cockroaches. It's very easy. That is my current calling, is for change, is to push for better change, right? And there will be phases, right? Maybe laws will be rewritten. Maybe new gig laws will come in. The coronavirus will pass us. We go through these different phases how we can use our channels. Once upon a time, I was using my channels in 2015, 2016, to make $20,000 to $40,000 a month, just talking, selling, talking, selling. And you go through all of these different phases. So it's a fun ride. Yeah, thank you. It says his art piece is called 9 Remembered. 9 Remembered. Abstract Ego says yoga is cool. Yoga is cool, especially what do they call it, like that relaxing yoga. I mean, there's some high intensity yoga that you and I can't even get into those crazy positions, but it has a lot. Oh, so bank closes at 2, so I'll be there at 1:30. Okay, cool. 1:30. So I got to rock and roll. I got to get down to this one bank. Client owes me money. I'll share that. I'll share that in one of the other videos. Do you drive for Uber, Lyft, Instacart, DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, or any other gig worker companies? We'd love to hear what life is like for you during the coronavirus pandemic. People want to share. People want to open up. People want to email them your stories, right? So that is how they publish the stories. That is how change comes about. And I can tell you that these stories that are shared with Business Insider, 80%, unhappy with certain companies, 80% probably fear-based, stress, and they'll put those stories out. And as long as those CEOs and those execs get exposed, right, through channels like Business Insider, through my channels, that is how we collectively push for change. Sherelle says, yin yoga is relaxing, yang is intense. Okay, I believe you. That's cool. Wicked Hustle Guy says, hit me up if anyone knows anyone having problem with making rent and getting hassled from their landlords or management companies. I'm sure you have a good formula recipe of dealing with that or with those type of people. That's really, really cool. The story here, I want to just finish this before I finish the feed and then I'm out of here. The company said in a statement that it had been providing payments to eligible drivers and delivery people, but did not elaborate how many drivers were eligible or why some drivers' claims were not answered, except to direct Business Insider to its policy. It seems like this largely a PR campaign to make it seem to the public like they're doing something for the extremely vulnerable drivers, said Veena Dubal, a professor of employment and labor law at the University of California, Hastings, who focuses specifically on the gig economy. So he says it seems like this largely a PR campaign. It's like a PR campaign. We're doing something for them, right? And he's right. The bottom line is they're doing nothing. Not something, but nothing. Says here a high bar. Frenet believed he met the new criteria, risk of spreading the disease, account deactivated, yet Uber denied his claim, sending him a generic reply without explaining why he wasn't eligible. After he called customer support 20 to 30 times, Frenet got a response from Uber saying his documentation needed to cite his risk of spreading COVID-19 as the reason for his quarantine. So Frenet got his doctor to write a second note, specifically mentioned that his March 18th ride meant he was sick, at risk of spreading coronavirus, as well as reiterating the risk to his health due to his weakened immune system, still to no avail. Still, they did not respond. Eli Martin, a driver in Chicago who has chronic fibrosis, a disease that affects the lungs, chronic lung disease, have been shown to put people at higher risk of serious illness from COVID-19, told Business Insider that he has had similar difficulties clearing the bar set by Uber, despite submitting a doctor's note instructing him to quarantine and get tested for coronavirus due to reporting a dry cough, sore throat, fatigue, and bony aches, the symptoms most commonly seen in patients with the virus. Martin could not get tested because of limited availability of kits. Uber has specifically said that other health conditions do not qualify someone for compensation, leaving its most vulnerable drivers in the lurch. That's prompted a backlash from people like Nicole Knesick, a Sacramento-based driver who received a kidney transplant, last year that requires her to take anti-rejection drugs, leaving her immune system suppressed. They just don't think about anyone but themselves, said Knesick, who told Business Insider. Her claim was rejected as well amid confusing and seemingly shifting criteria. They changed it to work for them. Frenette echoed her critique about Uber's policy. It's all karma. It's all going to come back in a big, big way. There's a big, massive price to pay for this. If this is how you run the company. Again, I want to use Mark Cuban's words to end this feed. Mark Cuban, the billionaire, seems like a people's person. He said, companies will be judged by what they do during the coronavirus for their employees or their workforce or their independent contractors. So, we will look back. You will make decisions post COVID-19 after the storm and say, you know what? I really don't want to deal with that company, right? There were just too many broken promises. They have too much blood on their hands. They did not show up when people needed the help. And I wash my hands and I'm done. Wash my hands or I disinfect my hands and I'm done with that company, right? Because the company is truly a virus. They're no good, my friends. So if we can learn from this, look elsewhere, move on, hand in your divorce papers to Uber, stop driving, stop doing Uber Eats, and go out and look for new opportunities. Wicked Hustle Guy says, commercial, in terms of his rental apartment, shoot me a message. But the first step is him contacting the Coalition of Economic Survival. I volunteer with them. That's awesome. So he knows a lot about that and can give you a lot of great information. That's fantastic. Very cool. Very, very cool. So I want to say thanks to Sherelle, thanks to Wicked Hustle Guy, thanks to Abstract Echo, thanks to Garcia, thanks to everyone that hung in here. And you're truly helping me up my hours on this channel. I just spoke for over an hour, so I'm sure I'll rack up a couple of hours, all towards the 4,000 hours that I need. I appreciate you guys. If I could get another 2 thumbs up at least and get it to 10 thumbs up, I'd be super grateful. Anybody that hasn't hit that thumbs up button, if you could do that, and maybe even help circulate this video or drop it in somewhere. We covered quite a bit. You're on 11. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Please stay safe out there. I'm excited to meet you back at the Rideshare Professor channel later. And I'll be bouncing back and forth. And at some point when I hit the target on this one, exciting stuff to come. Thank you. Gracias. Merci. Dankeschön. Dankjewel. Spasiba. Obrigado. And whatever other language I've left out. Have a great one. Bye-bye.